that was a good cliffhanger. Alright, please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah, the suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the Prosecutor's Award. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? The events took place as the defense theorizes, and the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, she killed him. What the fuck? She knocked him into the fucking suit of armor. And so, she was unconscious, and they tried to cover it up so she would never know, and she wouldn't get in trouble for doing it. Because it would have been manslaughter. You mean, Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Wow. She thought she was stopping the killer. Instead, she stopped Marshall and knocked him into the freaking suit of armor and killed him. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Wobble, wobble, wobble. This is better than fucking dinner theater. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Humph. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. Huh? You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. What? For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Somehow. That's fucking ridiculously far-fetched. That's what that is. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Of course, they're going to say it's in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. What is it, though? Fuck. Not in the evidence list. It's not in that photo. Neil's autopsy report? Died from blood loss. Weapon found in womb was missing a tail. That's the forged one. Well, this is the official record. There won't be anything in there. What about the jar? There's blood all over the jar. That could be... That doesn't make any sense. How could the blood be a message? I can't fucking move the goddamn thing up. What the fuck? It's just smears of blood. Doesn't look like anything to me. There's nothing else on this jar, right? I can't fucking get it to move. I want it to move up and down, and I can't get it to move. How the fuck do you do this? The dark red stains must be blood traces from the incident 2 years ago. They don't look like anything. Only the fragment found in Chief Gant's office still has lines remaining on it. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to say this, but I don't know how. What else could it be? There's no other evidence. It has to be the jar again. I'm gonna have to try to say it. The message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. It has to be the jar. Well, I don't know how, but I'm going to say it's the jar. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he just going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. It's a fucking blood splatter. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood in this jar. It's a fucking blood splatter. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here drawn in blood. What you're saying is these dots were once lines? Are you serious? Oh my god, this is the most... Yo, this is so fucking ridiculously far-fetched at this point. Oh my god. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. Well, then someone apparently wiped away, but blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. We've got to connect these lines to make letters. The victim would have written, given the circumstances, the murderer's name, which we know is Emma. Oh, this is... Oh, look at this! This is fucking stupid. This is the most far-fetched bullshit. So, he's impaled on a fucking knight, and he finds a vase and says, oh, I think I'm gonna write the name of the person who accidentally impaled me on this night, even though I couldn't see her because it was pitch black and the power was out. This shit makes no sense, man. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Why would he write that down on there? So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. That was fucking stupid. Out of all the cases I've played so far, that was the dumbest piece of evidence I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, it says, Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. Oh, shit, the Chief. Chief Kent, you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death.